ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। Hari Om, salutations to all. In the Padma Puran, this beautiful story comes where it is said that Rishi Mrikandu and Marudvati Devi, they did not have a child and they did tapasya, they propitiated Bhagavan Shiva, and Bhagavan was pleased. He manifested, gave them darshan, and they asked for the boon that they want a child. So Bhagavan said, you will definitely have a child, but the child will live only for 16 years. And so saying, Bhagavan became unmanifest. So they were happy on one hand because they were blessed with a child. Very soon a child was born, brought him up with great love, affection, and he was a bhakta of Shivji from childhood. But they had not told him that his life is destined only to be 16 years. Now he grew. He was a very polite child, loving, devoted to Bhagavan, would serve the parents, do the duties at home. When the 16th year came, now the father was very worried. So, looking at his father, so worried, he asked his grandfather. Now it is said his grandfather's name is Mrigashringa. So he asked his grandfather that why is my father looking so worried and he is not sharing the reason. So the grandfather, Mrigashringa Rishi, he told Markandeya that you are destined only to live for 16 years and this is the 16th year. And your time is fast approaching. You have one day in your hand. So Mrikandu Rishi's son is Markandeya. Mrigashringa is a grandfather. Markandeya had no fear. He said, Bhagavan Shiva is there. I have worshipped Bhagavan Shiva. He is my Aradhya. He is my Ishtadevata. I will worship him as I have been worshipping. Whatever has to happen, Bhagavan's will. So, as usual, he started worshipping Bhagavan, and the time of his death was such that his worship, it's in between his worship. So his puja is not complete. There's a beautiful Shivlinga. So they say that in Padma Puran it is said that he went to the south of India, on the shores of the ocean. He established a new linga. He called it as Markandeya linga, and he started worshipping Bhagwan there. And at the appointed time, Yamraj comes and he takes his nose, puts it around the neck of Markandeya. And Markandeya was worshipping Bhagwan. So he had told Yamraj that you please wait, I will come with you, just let me finish the worship of Bhagwan. Yamraj said, Kal does not wait for anybody. At the appointed time, one has to go. So as he threw the news, Markandeya held on to the Shivalinga. And so the news fell along with him on the Shivalinga. And as Yamraj tried to pull, massive sound comes out. Bhagwan himself manifests there and gives one kick to Yamraj. Yamraj gets stunned and he says that Bhagwan, I am only doing my duty. You have appointed me as Dharmaraj, as Yamraj. I have to do my duty. So Bhagwan says that what you have done is not wrong. The duty what you are doing is not wrong. But when the devotee is worshipping Bhagwan with such intensity, when one is when one is disturbing that and pulling out the prana, that is the mistake there. When he has asked specifically, and he is destined for 16 years, no doubt. I have only given him 16 years because there is a purpose. So what happens is when he worships Bhagwan, when Yamraj comes and his time to depart has just approached, Yamraj has come. So he sings a whole stotram. It is called Chandrasekhara Ashtakam. Very beautiful. He sings. रत्नसानुशरासनं रजताद्रिशृङ्गनिकेतनं शिञ्जिनीकृतपन्नगेश्वरमच्युतानलसायकम् क्षिप्रदग्धपुरत्रयं त्रिदशालयैरभिवन्दितं चन्द्रशेखरमाश्रये मम किं करिष्यति वै यमः. What will Yama do? I take refuge of Bhagwan Chandrasekhara. The beautiful Chandrasekhara Ashtakam he sings, and in that one of the lines is very powerful. Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara Pahimam, Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara, Chandrasekhara Rakshamam. These two lines from the whole Ashtakam, there are many lines which are there, and even one more series of shlokas which he sings in praise of Bhagwan. Rudram Pashupatim Sthanum Neelakantham Umapatim Namami Shirasa Devam Kimno Mrityu Karishyati. What will Mrityu do to me? Rudram Pashupatim Sthanum, who is Rudra, who is Pashupati, who is Sthanu, who is Neelakantha, who is Umapati. I prostrate, I surrender to that Lord. He is the one who is immortal, and I am his devotee. What will death do to me? So this way, he has composed very beautiful hymn in praise of Bhagwan Shiva. And the Leela of Bhagwan was this. See, what Yamraj was doing was not wrong. And it is not that anybody who is chanting the name of Bhagwan at the time of death will not die. The point there is, even if you see in Bhagavatam in the Ajamil story, it comes that Ajamil calls out the name of Bhagwan by not even by intention. Still he says Narayana. And the Dutas of Bhagavan Vishnu, they come and they don't allow Yamdutas to take him. And Yamdutas go back to Yamraj and ask him this, that what is this? Are you the only Dharmaraj or there are many other Dharmaraj in the world? Because your authority seems to be overpowered by someone else. So Yamraj asks him what happened, asks them what happened, and then they say all this happened. So Yamraj goes into Samadhi listening to the name of Narayana. And he says that he is the Supreme Lord and through him only all powers everyone gets. And so the Naam Mahima comes out through that. Same way here it is. To bring out the Mahima of Bhagavan's name, remembrance of the Lord, this Leela is done. Otherwise, one should not misunderstand saying, I will take name of Bhagavan and I should not die. One has to drop the fear of death. One has to drop the anxieties associated with it. One has to know that Bhagavan is with us while living, even at the time of death, even after death. And Bhagavan is the self of us. So immortality also comes through Bhagavan's grace. So when Markandeya composed all this and he was singing the glory of Bhagavan, Yamraj comes and tries to take his prana away, and Bhagavan manifests, gives him a kick. And Bhagavan says, I am very pleased with Markandeya, and he grants him the boon of immortality. So that Lord whom he worshipped Chandrasekhara. But the blessing that Bhagavan gave him, and he didn't ask for that blessing. He did not have a fear of death. He didn't want to postpone his death or live one more day, nothing. Appointed time, one has to go. But he wanted to finish Bhagavan's puja. Bas. So the supremacy of devotion over the fear of death, the supremacy of faith over that fear of death, that how one should face death. One should be courageous, bold, and one should know that that is one change that will happen in the body. Of the 6 changes, birth, so asti jayate, so it is conceived, then it is born, vardhate, it grows, viparinamate, it changes, apakshiyate, it goes through decline, old age, and it dies, vinashyati. These 6 changes body will go through. The mind also does not get affected by it. Forget the Atma. The mind which is identified with the body will feel I am dying. But otherwise, the Jivatma goes from one body, takes another body. How many bodies we have already taken? So the Gita says change of clothes. How it is, one changes the clothes and gets into another set of new clothes. That way we drop this body, we take another body. So the purpose of that story, one is the importance of faith over fear. Second is to also understand that how one should face death. Third also is to understand that we are truly immortal. We are not the perishing bodies. We are one with the Shiva Tattva. So Markandeya got immortality, meaning what happened to him? It is not that he got immortality means that alone that he lives till the end of the kalpa, he will be there in the physical form. No doubt, that is one level of immortality. But we should think of that also. That is that even easy to handle. See, Bhagwan's Kripa, he will live in the body until the end of the kalpa. So obviously, it will not be this type of body which goes through old age and decay and so fast in a short span of 80, 90 years. It starts becoming old, it shrinks, it has wrinkles and its capacities go down. So that is one aspect. Bhagwan's Kripa, he got a new body in the sense his body is not like our body. It will sustain through the kalpas in a healthy form. Now, the second aspect is that immortality, when we say, one has to see the destruction happening. No? Continuously, one is seeing the world perishing, people coming, going, and one is living on. That is the most difficult part. Tremendous level of vairagya is required for that. Because Markandeya will see his own grandfather going, father going, children going, everyone. Alone one will be. No, that's why if you see in one place where Gurudev went, and in that house, he gave a very unique type of a blessing. So when he went for Bhiksha there, people gave him offerings and they brought the Guru Dakshina and they gave the fruits and coconut and everything. And then they requested Gurudev to write something. So Gurudev closed his eyes and he was silent for a moment and then he wrote, grandfather dies, father dies, son dies. Autograph. So that host was disturbed, saying, why did Gurudev write this? Then they spoke to, so in their family, they have had instances of Akala Mrityu. And people have passed, young people have passed before the old people. So Gurudev's blessing was that that should stop. The order should be let the grandfather pass, then the father passes, then the son will pass. It should not happen that when young children die, there's so much of sorrow to the elderly. So that was his blessing that he gave there. So the point here is that this Markandeya Rishi, when he's immortal, and he has to see so much destruction happening, and he can't be attached to anything, because the moment one is attached to it, one will get miserable, because that thing will go. And it is not that one is going to drop at some point. That is not going to happen. Till the end of Kalpa, one is there. But the real boon of immortality is Atma Jnana. So if you read this beautiful stotram, it is in praise of Bhagwan Shiva, no doubt, and it worships the Sagun Sakar Rupa Bhagwan, but in and through that there is a lot of deeper meaning of understanding Shivji as the self. And when Bhagwan Shiva manifested, we say symbolically he kicked Yamraj, and Yamraj fell somewhere, and that dramatization is done. But at some point one has to die. Even if it is at the end of the Kalpa, the body will drop. The true immortality is to realize the absolute truth. And Shivji blesses Markandeya Rishi with that knowledge of the absolute truth. And there are many things that Markandeya Rishi has to do. So that is the Leela of Bhagwan, that he has kept Markandeya Rishi in the world. There are many things to be achieved by him. And through him, a lot of knowledge has to be given to people. And so this is the prasang of Markandeya Rishi and the Mrityunjaya Bhagwan. Lord Shiva is called Mrityunjaya because of this. And Markandeya Rishi gets immortality. Puja Gurudev, he was addressing the youth once, and just before his address, the youngsters performed a show in which one part of it was Markandeya Rishi's life and this episode. So very nice learning Puja Gurudev gives through that to the youth. I'm just going to share that here.
It is a beautiful situation. Look ahead. Draw inspiration not from those who are around you. Not because you have got already a large number of people supporting you. They may not support you. Draw your inspiration from that ideal alone. Lord Death may come to Markandeya just now. He may put the nose on your neck and he start efficiently pulling you, because he has been practicing it every day, efficiently pulling hard. But you hold on to the ideal, something happens. Out of that ideal comes out a mighty power which destroys, not you, but that mighty power destroys the Lord Death and saves you. So yours is only the duty of understanding what we must do. Start doing it right away.
So that was a beautiful learning, that hold on to the ideal and live without compromise. The higher ideals of selflessness, of service, of making a difference, putting ourselves, uh, putting a cause before ourselves. Hold on to something higher without compromise, and any obstacles that come, one can overcome that. So with this bhav, for a sadhak, what one holds on to is Bhagwan. One may hold on to other aspects of revival of a culture or serving the youth or society or any cause also. The highest is holding on to Bhagwan. One tries to realize oneness with the Supreme. So with that bhav, we will contemplate. Now that I think today is our 15th day, you have seen many steps. Some of the initial steps now you must have become familiar with. So we will skip some of the steps and we will shorten some of the steps so that our contemplation can be longer.